This is Andy Gutierrez from StarWars.com, and you are listening to Coffee with Kenobi with Dan Z. This is the podcast you're looking for.
This is James Arnold Taylor, and you're listening to Coffee with Kenobi. I have a good feeling about this.
Yes, hello everybody. Welcome back to CWK Live every Monday night at 7 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time. I am your host, Dan Z. Thrilled, of course, to be talking Star Wars with each and every one of you. Well, it's so nice to see everybody here in the CWK family. I see Mary is back from Walt Disney World. Who else is here? We've got Amber is back. Hey, Amber, great to see you again on the show. Hello, Terry. Terry is going to be our CWK Alliance Spotlight member next month. So, Terry, be looking to your email for that. Hopefully, you heard the announcement on Pour Over this week. Hello, Daniel. Here we go indeed. Yes, very exciting. 1 month, as Ross says, until the book of Boba Fett starts. Blake is back. Welcome back, my brother. Good to see you. And Mita, of course. This is the way. It's CWK Day. Well, speaking of Boba Fett, I am sporting the new Columbia hoodie that goes on sale later this week. Very, very nice of them to send that over to me, plus the hat and a couple of other gems. You can check out the images of that on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram on the Coffee with Kenobi feeds. But it's a very, very nice, very, very comfortable one. Mrs. Air approves, so that's always a plus. I highly recommend them. Very, very cool. Hello, Josh. Josh is here. Hello, Josh. Josh was at San Diego Comic-Con. I'm interested to hear all about that. Hello, Jason. And, of course, the one and only Mason Z is here. Minta loves the hoodie. Yeah, it's really, really comfortable. Really nice. Amber says, been really busy the last couple weeks, but of course I heard the podcast. No problem, Amber. Glad to have you back on the show tonight. Well, let's see. What do we have tonight? We've got top 5 moments from Star Wars Visions the Elder, Star Wars news and updates, and your comments and questions. Yes, yes, indeed. I'm excited because tomorrow, as you know, ta-da! The Star Wars Character Encyclopedia Updated and Expanded Edition, written by Simon Beecroft, Elizabeth Dowsett, Pablo Hidalgo, Amy Raquel, and me. There I am. There it is. There's nothing quite like the thrill of seeing your name in a Star Wars book. This is my second one. Very excited, very blessed to be able to be a part of this. I can't wait to show you a lot of the great things inside here. I have been given the green light to say something that will be interesting to you. When you get the Star Wars Character Encyclopedia, if there's a character from The Mandalorian, the odds are very, very good that I wrote it. So, enjoy. I'm excited for you to see it. It's coming out tomorrow on Coffee with Kenobi this week. Amy Raquel and I are going to be talking all about the creation of this book, go behind the scenes of it, and share some interesting stories about some of the entries. So, look forward to seeing that. Dan says, I hope to get that for my birthday. That would be a great birthday present. Ross says your name is the furthest from Saw. It's true. Josh is very cool, pre-orderable. Thanks so much, Josh. I appreciate it very, very much. Let's go ahead and take a look at what is brewing in the world of Star Wars this week. Yes. And Jason says he's looking forward to seeing that book all wrapped up under my Christmas tree. Yeah, I'm excited for that too. I'm really, again, such a cool thing to be able to be a part of this and to have this great community with us to embrace some of this. You know, when something like this happens, it's a lot of hard work, it's a lot of passion, but it doesn't happen without the kindness of all of you. And I am grateful you're going to love this book. It's going to enhance the Star Wars discourse, I believe. And it's going to teach you a couple things that maybe you didn't realize about some of these characters as well. Ben says, nice jacket. Well, thanks, man. It's pretty cool. I think this is going to be the official sweatshirt I'm going to wear for the book birthday tomorrow. Tomorrow's the book birthday, of course, again, of the Star Wars Character Encyclopedia. You may notice here in the Coffee with Kenobi studio, got some of the Christmas decorations up. The lights don't show up as well on camera as they actually are. I'll try to get some good pictures there. I know Tom Gross posted pictures of his Christmas tree with some Star Wars ornaments. I'm looking forward to posting those in the CWK Cafe, our exclusive Coffee with Kenobi Facebook group. If you're not already on the CWK Cafe, you should. It's free. It's a great place for Star Wars conversation. It's family friendly. It's safe. Spoiler free. It's great. Star Wars community. coffeewithkenobi.com/community. Anthony says, just want to say hi after my presentation tonight for grad school. Well, hello, Anthony. Hopefully it went great. I have no doubt that it did, my friend. All right. So as far as what's brewing today, as you know, tomorrow is when we get to see the new stuff for Bring Home the Bounty. I'm sure this will be a part of that. Actually, I'm not sure, but just a hunch because it is going on sale this week. But I'm going to try to do something that I've never done before. I'm going to show you my desktop. And what I want to do is I want to show you there's a video that just came out on November 28th, yesterday. It is an in-depth look at Star Wars Galactic Star Cruiser, the immersive experience where guests will embark on a first-of-a-kind Star Wars adventure. I have not seen this video, so I'm hoping to watch it with you, and we can react together. So I'm going to do a quick test. I'm going to hit play, and you tell me if you can hear it.
Hey, Admiral. Hello there.
Can everybody hear that? Type in the comments. And if you can hear it, I'm going to just keep playing. And then we will watch it together and then we'll talk about it. You can hear it. Great. Okay. Let's watch this video. Here we go. I don't know what to expect, but it's going to give some behind the scenes stuff. So let's go.
We cannot wait to have you aboard because Star Wars Galactic Star Cruiser is a first-of-its-kind vacation experience where you get to spend 2 days and 2 nights living out your very own Star Wars story.
To truly get the full effect of this, you need to be sure to go to the Disney Parks blog and check out the brand new video that aired on Monday, November 29th. And actually, no, I'm sorry. It came out Sunday, November 28th. And check out what we looked at. And now you're going to hear some immediate discussion from myself and members of the CWK family who joined me on CWK Live as this initially aired to talk about what we just saw. You'll notice the audio for the commercial is not here in the podcast feed, but you can certainly see it on the Disney Parks blog. Or hear it, I should say, on the Disney Parks blog. What do you think? Again, I had not seen that before. It doesn't show us a ton, but we do get the first glimpses of the soundtrack. They're taking the onboard entertainment very, very seriously. You're supposed to feel like you're in the Star Wars universe, and Terry says that was amazing, and I think so too. Ben says, soundtrack, please, for sure. Yeah, that was cool. Well, now I know I can watch the videos, not have to worry about embedding them. That's going to be very, very handy. Mary is clapping, which is great. Minta says, holy porg. That's very clever, Minta. I never heard that expression before. So my favorite thing about that, Dan says, what did I just witness here? What you just witnessed was something groundbreaking in the world of Star Wars theme parks and entertainment. Talk about immersive. I just like seeing, all of it was cool, but I like seeing the hallways. Just being able to walk down those hallways and feel like you're aboard the Tantive 4 or some sort of a Star Wars light cruiser of some kind, amazing. Ross says, very exciting, but I kept thinking Tom could dunk on that guy. Probably. It might be a close one. Josh says, that explains the price. Wow, yeah, it looks great. I can't wait to get on board. Speaking of on board, you know I had to show you this because people ask me about it all the time. I don't have a date yet because Disney, it's a little too far away, but in the summer of 2023, you can join me on the Galactic Star Cruiser in Walt Disney World. Coffee with Kenobi and MEI and Mouse Fan Travel are teaming up to get us all on board the Halcyon in the summer of 2023. Start saving your money now. Every little bit helps. And we can book this thing together, experience this thing together. I mean, I don't really know what could be cooler than that. Plus, you get to go to Galaxy's Edge as well. So I think that is tremendous. All right. Well, any questions on that? I don't really know much other than what you just saw. StarWars.com, Kristen Baver had a great article. There's a lot of other articles on there by some journalists who got a very, very early sneak peek as they're continuing to build and get this thing ready for launch next year. Wow is right. It's going to be so cool. It's going to be so very, very cool. All right. Speaking of very cool, we've got one heck of a top 5 for you tonight. We're going to talk about the top 5 moments from The Elder. To me, a spectacular episode. Now, I've been saying as I rewatch these that I usually like them more. The ones I wasn't as crazy about, I end up liking more. This one I already loved, and I liked it even more. I didn't even think that was possible. This is a great episode. Josh says, I read the first cruises have a set number of attendees for Make-A-Wish children. Totally the right thing to do. It is exactly the right thing to do. I love that. Amy also, yes, our friend Amy Ratcliffe had a great article on Nerdist about it too. Of course she did. Amy's great. All right. Speaking of Make-A-Wish, I'm glad you brought that up, Josh, because as you probably know, or maybe you don't, but if you are a member of the CWK Alliance, not only do you get access to CWK Pour-Over, our exclusive weekly audio and video podcast, depending on where you decide to contribute, but 10% of your monthly contributions go to the St. Jude Children's Hospital. So that is a good service as well. All right. Top 5 moments from Star Wars Visions, The Elder. Let's do it. So Mason and I, we've been doing this a lot for this series, but we tied. We kind of make our list together, and I found that to be really, really fun. But number 5 for me is the opening dialogue. Dan and Tajin, I believe his name is pronounced Tajin. Dan is the Padawan. Tajin is the wizened Jedi Master. They have this like 6 or 7 minute long conversation. That's just sort of a guesstimate. It just feels like it's longer, but it's amazing because it's a very long bit of dialogue, a very long bit of conversation, and it doesn't feel boring or drawn out or like tedious exposition. It just really serves to build up these characters. I love Tajin's very dry delivery, very calm, almost uninspired delivery, and that's completely purposeful. And I'm talking about the English dub, of course. He's just very, very chill, and I love it. And just the way that Dan is excited and is clearly showing he's got this enthusiasm for getting out there and facing the Sith or whatever the dark side presence is that Tajin notices. There's just something really, really cool about the camaraderie between the two. Yes, it reminds you of Anakin and Obi-Wan, but it also just has a very fresh feel to it as well. They're trying to go to the planet Habbo, by the way. We've got a lot of great stuff here. Number 5 for me, to the storyline, it felt like it was plucked out of the Star Wars Republic series. Yes, I agree. This very much felt like High Republic stuff. Number 5 for Terry, not having read any of the Qui-Gon Obi-Wan novels or comics, I get the feeling this episode could have been one of their adventures. I agree with that as well, Terry. Number 5 for Mary the Master. I have a bad feeling about this, plus all the interactions between the Master and the Padawan. Yes, Dan is the Padawan. Dan, that's an interesting name. I think that should be a Star Wars name, so yay for that. And then the Master is Tajin, of course. Yes, very cool. All right, who else do we have? Ben says, the steam coming off the lightsabers in the rain. Tiny, but I really like when Star Wars embraces the elements. Remember that first Force Awakens trailer? Yep, I thought about that as well. Good catch, Ben. Number 5 for Jason. The continued great sound effects in the series, especially the sound of Master Tajin sensing a disturbance in the Force and the crackle and growl of the Elder's lightsaber, also the shape of their blades. And the handle, too, is very unique, isn't it? Yeah, I thought that was cool. Let's see, Amber. I'm so lucky to be your Padawan. I was being sarcastic. I was wondering if somebody's going to bring up that line. Daniel's 5, the Sith ship design. Yes, that was cool. It definitely had a Sith from Rebels, like the Sith temple feel to it. Brian, hello, Brian. Brian's number 5, the banter between the Master and Padawan reminded me of Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan. Pretty cool. Blake's number 5, the relationship between the Master and Apprentice. It was great to see the tension that was created because of that relationship. That was cool. And it was like a very understated tension, too. Hey, Kato is here. Hello, Kato. Great to see you. 5 for me was a limited color palette in the look of it. Yes, Kato. Good call. It was very understated, wasn't it? And very, very powerful for the way it was expressed. And again, Mason's 5 is the same as mine. So let's go ahead and jump on to number 4. Number 4 for me, waiting in the rain. So the Master is sitting with his legs crossed, and he's just waiting in the rain, waiting for a Jedi to show up because he wants to fight, because that's what the Sith do. And it's just very dramatic. I love the drama of that. And that's when we start to see the rain hitting the lightsaber blade itself. That was super cool. Big fan of that. Number 4 for me, to the lightsaber fight sequence between Master Tajin and the Elder. It gave a clear nod to the early versions of the animated Clone Wars. That's right. I knew there was something to it, and I couldn't remember, so thank you, Amita. That's a good catch. Number 4 for Terry, much dialogue concerning the Force and Jedi culture. Always enriching to me, I agree. Amber's number 4, the samurai lightsaber that the Elder has. Yes, it was a samurai lightsaber. Good catch. Number 4, a Jedi must find balance and stillness. Such a Qui-Gon statement. Reminded me of how Qui-Gon fought Maul, balance and stillness. An excellent comparison. I like that very much. Jason's number 4, Dan's interaction with the village children. Very humanizing and light moments that help offset the gravity of the conflict with the Elder. And also makes you really appreciate Dan even more. Instead of just being like a sort of a cocky, enthusiastic kid. Yeah, makes it a human side. Number 4 for Blake, the apprentice and his relationship with the village kids helps so much with the world building of the planet. Yes, the planet of Habbo. Good catch, Blake. Yes, the world building is much clearer because of that. Number 4 for Ben, the patience of Tajin with his Padawan. Dan keeps getting distracted by wanting to see action and is even sarcastic, as Amber pointed out, but Tajin remains calm and patient, taking it all in stride. Excellent. Boy, we're really doing a great job. I like this very much. By the way, see if we can add more people to the conversation while we're watching the show. Tag a friend, invite somebody online, and have them join us, because who knows what they might have in their top 5. But what we have has been pretty impressive. Most impressive, of course. Oh, number 4 for Kato. The look of the Elder. He looked a little like a no theater mask. I hope I pronounced that right. And he moved his head like a master no performer. Interesting. I need to know more about this. Daniel says, Padawan Dan, I almost feel like Tajin was talking to me. Right? I agree. I felt the same way, Daniel. Number 3 for me is the Red Blade Destruction. So when Tajin is fighting the Elder, he quickly disarms one of the 2 blades that he has, throws it up in the air, and slices it in half, which is so cool. It was like no effort, no sweat, no big deal at all. He just makes it happen. Boom, bang, time to move on. Very impressive. I like the coolness. I mean, it's still amazing to me that we can see Jedi duels and lightsaber duels, and then we can still see something unique and fresh. I love that. So cool. Let's see. Number 4 for Brian. The waiting and waiting and waiting for the first move of the lightsaber duel in the rain. I might have been holding my breath. You know what? I agree. And it seemed more pronounced the next time I watched it. I agree with you. Minta's number 3. Dan versus the Elder. Dan was able to hold his own even though it was only for a short time. That's true. It's very true. And you almost feel like the Elder was toying with him. Hard to say. Terry's 3. The reverence of the Sith being extinct for hundreds of years wasn't sure if this was pre-Phantom or post-Revenge of the Sith. Either way would have worked out. Yep, I was kind of trying to place where I could put it in the timeline too. Mary Dan and his interactions with the children ditto to what others have already mentioned in their numbers 4 and 5. Very good. Number 3 for Amber, the suspense of the Elder waiting for the right time to attack the Jedi. Yeah, there's some moments where there's no music and there's just the stillness of the Force, and I wrote down the suspense as one of my honorable mentions. That's a good catch. Let's see. Jason, the Phantom Menace vibes. I love the similarity of Dan and Tajin's relationship to that of Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon. I especially love seeing Tajin's Qui-Gon-esque lightsaber blade and stance. Yes, there's very much a lot of Qui-Gon in this one. Number 3 for Ben. Dan's attempt to help Tajin before the Elder could strike him down. There's an unspoken lesson. No matter how strong the Elder is, there is always more strength in numbers. The Sith miss that lesson. Yes, they do. Number 3 for Blake. The color palette used in the animation that matched the vibe the episode was giving out perfectly. And Blake, I know you're a huge anime guy, so I'm guessing you really dug this one. Number 3 for Kato is the Master and Padawan relationship. All of what you said in your 5. What an interesting relationship was developed very quickly. Very skillful storytelling, too. Very good characterization. Number 3, the planet Habbo and its terrain. Cool. Amber says, or post-Revenge of the Sith, or Rise of Skywalker. Yeah, I agree. I like the idea of it being super High Republic era or way after the Rise of Skywalker. Interesting. And let's go ahead and go on to number 2. How about that? Number 2 for me is the Elder's defeat. The way the Elder is defeated, the way that Dan is able to help, the way that Tejan is able to turn off his lightsaber, turn it on, and then put it next to him, then turn it on again. Very dramatic. We'd already seen that red blade destruction I mentioned for my number 3. But number 2, seeing how the Elder was defeated was just, again, he just made it look very easy and calm. But the way he talked about it, as we get older, losing our power, it was clear to me that it wasn't easy, but he made it look that way. And he wasn't ostentatious about it either. He was just taking care of business. I mean, there was style for sure, but it wasn't about, hey, look at me. It was just very cool. I like it very much. All right, Brian's number 3. Tejan's exposition discussion of how the Elder may have been tracking them instead of the pair of Jedi searching for the Elder. Mita's number 2. The Elder, he had the old school Sith vibe, but his overconfidence was his downfall. He also reminded me of Gollum from Lord of the Rings. Oh, interesting. Yeah, they kind of looked the same. And James Hong, I believe that was the actor that did the English dub. He's 91 years old. Talk about impressive. Kato's number 2 for me is the exploration of age. You have these warriors in the 3 stages of life. Age and potential is explored. The fact that the Elder is defeated by his age is so compelling. It really is. Terry's number 2, the lack of soundtrack and emphasis on specific sounds like the rain, lightsabers, and children laughing. Number 2 for Jason, the Elder, a very creepy dude, especially his sudden appearance behind Dan and his charge attack and his evil Sith eyes. I love the animation of this one. Number 2 for Mary, the Elder's lightsaber, the erratic edges at the hilt and how he attacks with them. Amber's number 2, Dan with the kids. Yes. Number 2 for Daniel, the sound effects, the running sound of the Elder, the rain, and the sizzle on the lightsabers. By the way, all great ones, Daniel. By the way, do you prefer Daniel or Dan? I don't think I ever asked you that, so let me know, and I'll be sure to address you as such, good sir. Ben. Tejan's lessons on power at the end. Time eventually limits your power, and purpose of the power is to help others, and now Dan has officially been changed by this experience, and opens it to learning that lesson now. Very insightful, Ben. I like that. Blake's number 2, the way the Sith Elder was portrayed. It was disturbing and very unsettling, which was executed perfectly. It was really, really well done. All right, let's get to number 1. Top 5 things we love about, or we liked about the Elder. Top favorite things we liked about Star Wars Visions of the Elder. Number 1 for me, Tejan's wisdom. So, his last name is spelled, let's see, Crosser, Crosser, I believe. But Tejan is such a great character. I mean, if he was in the regular Star Wars, look out. He'd probably be in my top 5 or 10. There are 2 quotes he had that I wrote down that I really liked. And the first one was, with power, you protect those without it. In other words, that's the purpose of power. Which, by the way, is very much shown in the current Masters of the Universe Netflix series, too, by the way. The other one he says is, do not forget your training and your kindness. I love that. I've never heard it put that way in Star Wars, but don't forget your training and your kindness. Look, we're all aspiring Jedi. Don't forget your training and what makes you who you are, and don't forget your kindness. I love that. That is just absolute gold. So that those 2 things combined with just the vibe of Tejan in general, that is my number 1. But if somebody asked me about this, the side of this hood has got like the red on it, like on Boba Fett's. See that right there? It's got on Boba Fett's helmet itself. There we go. So yeah, really cool. Really cool. All right, let's get to your number 1s. Looks like Brian's number 2. Tejan's lightsaber moved to disengage his lightsaber, then reignite to strike the Elder down. This is the lightsaber power in the Saga edition of the Star Wars RPG. Ooh, interesting. Interesting. I don't think I knew that. Or I've forgotten. It's been a while. Meantime, Dan and Master Tejan, they handle the situation with ease, and it becomes a teachable moment as well. That power is temporary, and he should use his powers to help others. Jason's number 1. Master Tejan's wisdom. A Jedi does not seek out aggression. A Jedi seeks balance and stillness. No matter how powerful you become, no, it will not last forever. Do not forget your training and your kindness. Exactly what I mentioned for my number 1. I love that one so much. The one for Amber, the Sith Elder, was so creepy and his attack style was so cool. Do you agree, Amber, and everybody, that these characters from Star Wars Visions would make the coolest action figures? We need to see that happen. I would love that. All right, Blake, the fighting sequences reminded me a lot of samurai anime I loved over the years. Well, that's good. That's cool. I'm trying to refocus this camera a little bit. It's getting a little blurry. Hopefully that's better. All right, good. Kato's number 1. The effect of the whole episode, it was like a poem more than a film in the Star Wars universe. Ooh, what a lovely way to state it. Terry's number 1, the mindfulness of the present. Both the Jedi Master and the Elder acknowledged who they were in their prime, but also keeping their focus in the present. And one for Ben. Small thing, but the scar over Tajan's eye, it's a sign that he's already seen action and has learned not to seek it out. It's proof of the experience behind his wisdom. You know what? I noticed that scar too, and then just kind of went out of my mind, but that is a very good call. It does show like the character and the experience that he has. Mary's number 1, it says hers is a lot like Ben's number 2. The message of time getting stronger as you get older. The peak you reach at a certain point, and the decline of your strength as you get older. Yes. Very, very, very wise. The lack of score in the Great Jedi dialogue, I love how quiet and natural it was. Oh yeah, my friends call me Dan. All right, well then I'm going to call you Dan too because we're friends. Perfect. And I'll be able to remember that because of this episode and because of the guy who hosts the show. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. And Josh says, one creepy old dude. Well, there you go. Kato's all in for the action figures. Good. I would think so. I think they'd be great sellers. Next week's top 5. We've only got 2 episodes left. Top 5 moments from Star Wars Visions, Lop and Ocho. I'm excited to see this one again, for sure. There's a lot of dancing here tonight. I know it's like a Dan party, isn't it? So cool. All right, speaking of cool, we've got a little bit of time, so let's go ahead and jump into Ask DNZ. All right, so it's time to ask me anything about, well, whatever you want to ask me about. I mean, again, this baby comes out tomorrow, available at bookstores everywhere, Amazon, Target, Walmart, Barnes & Noble, Books A Million, wherever you want to go, check things out. There's a lot of great stuff here that you are going to enjoy. One thing that I think is really cool about this is it tells you the heights. You may have seen other versions of this one, but the heights of some of these characters, it's just kind of fun to see them and compare them. Yeah, really, really good stuff. All right, so Minta says, Lop and Ocho is one of my top favorites. It's pretty great. Top 3 for me. Ben agrees. Were you and the fam doing anything special for the book birthday? Well, you know, I don't know. We haven't really talked about that. Just being home with my family is pretty special. We have a lot of fun together. But last time when the Star Wars book came out, we went out to dinner. So we haven't really talked about that. But I don't know. I just am happy to just kind of hang out and to celebrate the excitement of it for sure. So that's a good question. Was working on the second book easier than the first one? It was definitely different because it's a much shorter book. So it's kind of a different challenge, to be honest. Have I seen the new James Bond movie yet? No, it's like the only one I haven't seen in theaters since, Roger Moore's Octopussy movie way many years ago. So I need to see this one in the theaters. It'll be the first one I've never seen in the theaters since the mid-'80s. What are you allowed to tell us about the book tonight before it comes out? Well, what I'm allowed to tell you is, like I said at the top, shows that I wrote the sections on The Mandalorian. Just about all the sections on The Mandalorian. So I'm very honored. Very, very, very proud of that. It's a huge honor. My goodness. Here's a little sneak peek. Ooh, yeah. You're going to have so much fun reading this thing. Kato says, congratulations on the new book. Thank you so much, Kato. I'm just very excited about everyone getting their hands on it and learning more about these amazing characters. Brian was my favorite episode from Masters of the Universe Revelation. So, tell me about the first part of season 1 or the part that just came out last week. The part that came out last week, I would say probably either the first or second episode from the second part of the first season. Minta, what are your thoughts on the recent canceled Star Wars project, Rangers of the Republic? You know, I don't know. I mean, these stories never go away. We've learned that from all the things that George did with Clone Wars and what Dave's done with Rebels and everything else. So, who knows? Maybe we'll see it pop up in other places. as long as we get good Star Wars stories that are fresh and advance the mythology, then I'm happy for it. So hopefully we'll get to see things eventually. Can't wait to see Kenobi section. Yeah, that's gonna be fun. It's going to be fun. You're gonna like it, man. Ben, my Thanksgiving was absolutely wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. We hosted. We had about, I think, 18 people over at our house. And we laughed, we played games, we ate, we watched the Bears win miraculously. We had just a great holiday. Hopefully you did too. Am I allowed to say how much content the new character encyclopedia is ready to the clones? I'm really wanting to find good resources that detail the clones, just having recently finished my Clone Wars rewatch. Well, I think you'll be happy with this in here. There's also a Clone Wars visual guide that Jason Fry did that came out last year, and I think you will really like that one too, Jason. I think those would both be good resources for you. How about those new Joe comics you purchased regionally? Were they new or re-releases? Good. These are ones back from 1982, 83, to like last year or the year before. I've got them all digitally now. Comixology had this great, insane deal where like every volume, which is like 10 to 20 issues, was like 99 cents or $1.99. So I got all of them for less than $40. It was insane. I'm loving it. I'm like, oh hey, look it. It's my brother-in-law. What's up, Bill? What did you enjoy most about the process of working on the books? Well, that is a good question, brother o' mine. One of my favorite things about the process was knowing that I got to write and contribute to Star Wars in some small way. I got to be a part of helping to talk about and help form ideas of these characters, and that even saying it out loud, I can't possibly put it into words. It's just really wonderful. And I also love writing. I love the process of writing. It's great. The editing, the feedback, getting to see pages, and just getting to see the book. It's just really amazing. Do I think of myself as an author as I continue these ventures, or do you have some other way that you think of yourself with making these books? That's an interesting question, Cato. I definitely feel like an author, for sure. I mean, written 2 books now. And I definitely feel like an author. The whole process is the same. So yeah, I agree. I agree, but I do feel like an author. These are great questions. Daniel says, First Order Stormtrooper. Yes, I figured that's what you meant, my friend. Ben says he thought of me when the Bears beat the Lions. You host a Star Wars podcast and Thanksgiving. What other hosting jobs do we not know about? That's pretty funny. Well, look. I did a few things here and there, but my wife is the hostess with the mostest. She's the one who made it happen for our family, and she's the one who deserves all the credit for that. I'll just stick to the podcasting thing. But thanks, that's pretty clever. Amber says she's got the original character encyclopedia. It has a lot of Clone Wars stuff in it. Yeah, it does. There's some cool Clone Wars stuff here, too. Related to what Minta said, what Star Wars projects were canceled? Well, they didn't officially ever say. Oh, yeah, I guess they did. The Rangers of the New Republic is not going to be made, I don't believe. Blake, I may have missed it since last week, but what do you think of the Dark Horse making Star Wars comics again? I think it's cool. And more Star Wars content is great. You've got talented creators behind it. A lot of people love the Dark Horse line, so I think that's a really cool thing. The lightsaber power is called Pass the Blade from the Saga Edition Jedi Academy book. I had to pull it out and look it up. Oh, cool. Pass the Blade. All right. Thank you so much. I'm liking the Hawkeye series. Actually, Daniel, we're going to talk about that. And Ben says, wait, we haven't asked about Hawkeye. We're going to talk about that on CWK Pour Over this week, so look for that this weekend. But I liked it. I'm going to save it there because I want you to get a chance to hear it on Pour Over, which is, again, something you can hear if you're a member of the CWK Alliance. But I will say I liked it. I would not rank it as one of my tops of the Marvel Disney Plus series, but I did enjoy it for sure. And Mason absolutely loved it. Well, that is going to do it. By the way, for next week, we've got a new day. Next week is not going to be Monday. It's actually going to be Tuesday at 7 o'clock p.m. because Monday night, Mason has his Christmas concert at school, and I'm definitely not missing that for anything. So that's going to be a must. So that doesn't mean the show will be gone, though. We're still going to do it. Like I said, next week is going to be Tuesday at 7 o'clock Central Time. So I hope I will see all of you there still. We had a great turnout tonight, which is wonderful. Be sure to invite friends next week to join us as we talk about top 5 moments from Lop and Ocho. Minta says, may the force be with you. Josh doing Legal Live podcast on Hawkeye starting on Saturday. Very cool. Brandon, what's up, Brandon? He says he's watched all the Marvel shows except Hawkeye, loving Falcon and Winter Soldier. Brandon, it's great to see you, man. Very proud of you and all your accomplishments. Keep up the good work. Falcon and Winter Soldier is really, really good. Ben says, good luck, Mason. Thank you. I'll pass it along to him. Mary says, they have a great week. Ross says, they have a great week. Amber says, yay, Mason. Blake says, good night, my CWK fam. Love you. I am Boba Fett. Blake is Boba Fett. That is breaking news. Blake, you need this, man. Kato says, thanks, Dan. I'm glad I could check in tonight. I'm very glad you could check in too, Kato. Always glad to see you. Mary says, good luck, Mason. Have a great time. Josh, we'll see you next Tuesday. Have a great night. Jason, Brian will not be here next week. Middleton has his Christmas concert on Tuesday. Hey, that's more important. Family first. That's always the motto. Brian, you know you can catch the replay here on YouTube, Instagram, and of course the audio on the podcast feed itself. There's this most excellent show tonight. Party on, everyone. Thanks so much. Daniel, we'll see you next week. And don't forget, tomorrow is the book birthday of the Star Wars Character Encyclopedia. Next week, I look forward to hearing your thoughts on this new book from Disney, Lucasfilm, and DK. Thanks so much, everybody. Remember, next week is going to be Tuesday instead of Monday. It's a special time because Mason's got his concert. I'm definitely not going to miss that. But we'll be missing you Monday, which is why we'll have next Tuesday at 7 o'clock p.m. May the Force be with you. Hope you all had a happy Thanksgiving. And I'll see you next time.
This podcast is not endorsed by the Walt Disney Company or Lucasfilm Limited. It is intended for entertainment and informational purposes only. The official Star Wars website can be found at www.starwars.com. Star Wars, all names, sounds, and any other Star Wars related items are registered trademarks and or copyrights of Disney and their respective trademark and copyright holders. All original content of this podcast is the intellectual property of Coffee with Kenobi unless otherwise indicated.
This is the podcast you're looking for.
There's no one here. Move along.